Hello students, welcome to this important course of computer network. And by means of saying important, this course or this computer network holds a very important place in all our lives. In our lives, we have seen that we work with the many different devices. By means of saying devices, I mean to say that we work somewhere on laptops, different computers, different other devices, which are somehow by means connected to different other devices through a network. And these devices require a computer network model to connect with each other. So this course will basically throw some light on the that how this model is working and how this model is divided into different layers so that it can work and function accordingly and efficiently. So for this particular course, you can follow the some of the references books, which is fourth edition Data Communication and Networking by Behrouz Frozen, and the another edition which is fifth edition for the computer networks. You might can follow some of the other books according to your learning capability. So by moving further, I, Prabjot Singh, I'm currently working as assistant professor at Apex Institute of Engineering in the department of Apex Institute of Engineering and Technology at Chandigarh University. For this particular course, uh, for any queries related to it, you can mail me or you can drop your queries at prabjot.e@cumail.in. The course objectives and the outcomes of our course will be as follows. This course brings together several keys of computer network design and architecture to recognize the key concepts of internetworking and to prepare a sample network via simulation. And the outcomes will be to develop an understanding of the basic networking concepts, to implement the functionalities of different algorithms and protocols, and to learn about different connection establishment and techniques. For example, we might have heard about TCPs connection, we might have heard about UDP connections. We will see that how these are going to be established and how these are going to be worked. For example, we might have come across the different protocols like Ethernet protocol, we have IP protocols. We will definitely see in the further movement of this course that how these actually protocol works help in defining our network. Fine. So moving forward, the first thing which I'm going to start with this particular course is the introduction to different terms and the different things which are revolving around this particular computer network course. Because as we know, for any particular course, the basic terms holds a lot. So we should definitely discuss that what is this. In the first session, I am just going to discuss all these basic things so that you can able to get together that what actually a network is and what are the different things which are connected to this particular. So the first thing which I am going to start is with the definition of network. Might be you all have know that what is a network. So and you might have heard about what is a particular network. So I suggest here to all you those who knows, just pause this video, get a good definition of a particular network, and you might can skip this particular video, or you otherwise you stay with me and let's see how we can find a good proper definition of what a network is. So when we talk about a particular network, it's all about that some bunch of devices. For example, we talk about desktop, we talk about laptops, we talk about mobile phones, we talk about printers, that how these devices connect with each other to get a proper, sorry. So how these devices connect with each other to for exchange of some information. Fine. So for a particular network, there are two things which generally we see, that we have seen some of the wired connections and we have seen some of the wireless connection. By means of saying wired connection, that we require some cables for which these devices are connected through switches. For this, for which a network works, or for which it requires a network to exchange some information. And by means of saying that wireless connection, we talk about access points. Fine. For example, let's see or let's think about a particular router. integrated with the switch and having the access point that can work as like a Wi-Fi. So this in this way a network is formed and your devices connected through that particular network, and this can exchange information. Fine. So we might have heard about some LAN cables through which we might have heard about Ethernet, that how these cables connect with it and provide us the network for which we required for exchange of information. Fine. So we can say that a particular network collection of computers, servers, mainframes, network devices, peripheral devices, or any devices connected to one another to allow the sharing of data. And the best example, if we talk about a particular network, I can say internet. Fine. So every device which have to connect to internet must connect to a network. Fine. So in that way they can share some information, we can do some web surfing. And when we talk about this network, we know that there are some of the protocols which have been working. Fine. For example, we talk about that for example, Ethernet protocol is required to connect a network. For example, we talk about IP protocol is required for the IP addressing. For example, if we talk about that I have to do some web surfing over the internet, we require HTTP protocol. We all have seen mine the starting of the web address, which is HTTP, which is known as Hypertext Transfer Protocol. We might have heard about some of the different protocols. For example, we talk about for an email exchange, we required SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So these are some of the things, the protocols which actually combines to make it a particular network. And to exchange of that information between one device to another device, or if I say the sender is sending some data or exchanging some packets to a particular receiver, and the thing is they both should be on the same they both should be on the same page. On saying that on the same page, that means they should understand the common language. That's what protocol is. That's why we protocol requires. Fine. So these are different some of the categories which we have discussed till now, protocols. And what is protocol and what makes a network is a bunch of some devices. And to establish your any of the device including switch or a router, we will definitely discuss in detail in the next slide. So for this, what this is what makes a network. And to understand that what how this router works or how switch works, actually it has been established by your ISP. We might have heard this term, which is known as internet service provider. So it comes to your house or any working area where you want it, establish the network for you and help you in doing the task which you require. So this is whole what makes a network. Fine. So this is how generally works network, and with the help of some protocols. So this is just the introduction which we have shared. So I suggest that that you should be able to answer these some of the questions. For example, what are the two ways computer can connect to that network? What devices do they usually connect to? How many protocol are used when one computer accesses another computer? So I suggest here to everyone to pause this video here for a minute or two and get these answers, and move and then move further and keep learning. This will not only enhance your understanding but also help in learning more. Fine. So the next thing which we are now so that sums up that how some of these protocols are and how network is, how network how what is network, and what it requires to understand or exchange for some information. Now the next thing which we come across in the computer networks is network types. Fine. So for example, let's suppose that we have some bunch of devices connected with a switch hub, and we have router. So basically when we talk about router, why we need it? We need it when two different networks wants to connect to each other through some means. For that we require a router. If we talk about exchanges of some information in a same network, then we might can work with the hubs and switches. But if we want to work with a different network, if we want to connect to two different networks, we need a router. That's why it needs. And these have some of the advantages and disadvantages. For example, if we talk about hubs, Hubs was the oldest technology which were used. For exchange of information, these are used, and we know that in a computer network where every devices which need to connect each other will connect through nodes. So these are the nodes connecting with the different computers and the different interconnecting devices which required for the transfer of the packets or exchange of the information. And when we talk about the hub, actually hub has only a single broadcast domain and a single collision domain. That means if if in the diagram we see that only PC4 wants to send some data to PC1, exchange some information, then it has to send to the hub. That means we can say that the hub is not the intelligent one. So what it does, it actually forward the information of PC4 to all the other PCs in that particular network. So this might be an issue which needs to be addressed. So we have, in place of that, we have some modern switches. So modern switches, they are more secure. The thing with the switches that they have a one broadcast point, but they have multiple collision domains to handle multiple requests at a single time. And moreover, they learn addressing, and they learn that what are the different MAC address of the different computers. So they help in establishing a more secure connection, and they are more intelligent than hub. Fine. And then when we talk about routers has multiple broadcast domains and multiple collision domains. That means they are more intelligent than the switch and hubs, and they are basically used to share the information, to exchange the information to different networks. Fine. So when we say that in a particular network, only some of the bunch devices in like home in a very small office, that is referred to as SOHO, known as small office, home office. But when we talk about there are large number of devices in a particular network with the interconnecting devices, that we can call it as a enterprise network. So these are to some refers or to some definition which refers to it. And now let's suppose and when we are coming to this network types, the first type which we have is LAN. We might have heard about it, local area network, which is generally referred to as when we talk about the network in a particular single building. For example, think about a particular office, and in that office different networks are running. For example, we can see this example that in a particular building we might have some different departments like sale department, we might can have account department, we might can have HR department, engineering department. So there are different departments which might can exist in a single building, and these particular networks might can have the different networks. There is no issue with that, that I want to remain fixed some different networks for different departments, so that there would not be any issue. Fine. So we that as we talked about earlier, that we want to make different modules so that each works according to its functionality. Fine. So when we talk about these that in a building we have different networks, they might can have different networks, that is referred to as local area network. That in a building we are talking about this. For for this in this example, we have seen a router has been used to connect two networks together, because we have different networks in a building, and to connect with each other we definitely need a more intelligent device, interconnecting device, that is router. And a router which further attached to internet to provide the internet to both the departments currently working in a LAN. So if we talk about the LAN speeds, so early LANs has data rates in the range 4 to 16 Mbps. Today we generally have speeds in between 100 or in 100 or 1000 Mbps. And there is one also thing note that the propagation delay is very short in a LAN. The propagation delay means that time taken by a signal to reach from sender to go from sender to reach its destination, that propagation delay time is very short in a particular LAN when we talk about. So that sums up that how LAN is working. Or if we talk about a particular network in a LAN in a building, that refers to a LAN network type, which is local area network. By moving further, uh, we have the second time, which is MAN, metropolitan area network. So in the metropolitan area network, think about having a network in a particular city. For example, let's suppose the telephone industry or the telephone company have different cables all over the cross, providing the telephone connection to the different homes, to a different parts of a particular city. So that can be referred to as the network working in a city. It can be referred to as MAN, metropolitan area network. And when we talk about the metropolitan area network, the fault tolerance of a man is less, and also there is a more congestion in the network, because as our networks grow large, the congestion will rise more. By means of congestion, that we means traffic is more, and chances that our packet might get lost for this particular congestion. For this, we have different algorithms that how we can control it. We will see in the further part of our further part of this course. Don't worry, stay with us. Stay with me. We will cover each and every part. Fine. By moving further, there are some of the examples of the man are the part of telephone company network that can provide a very high speed DLS line to the customer, or the cable TV network in a city. So that refers to a man metropolitan area network. Fine. The third thing about this is that the we talk about Ethernet having 10 Mbps, or the fast Ethernet we having 100 Mbps, and a few location having the gigabit Ethernet 1000 Mbps connection for this particular man. So by moving further, the third type which we have is WAN, wide area network. Now think about having the network in a country, across a country. For example, we talk about a particular, let's take an example of a particular bank. Now let's suppose the bank have different branch. One branch is working in New York, and the second branch is working in India. The third branch is working some other part of the country. And what we want is we want to connect these particular offices or branches with each other by some means. For that, and they are definitely in the different part of the country. So how we can connect with the network. And for that, what we required is we required to connect to the ISP, internet service provider, which helps us in getting connecting these two different offices which might be in different part of the world. So this particular networks is generally referred to as WAN when we talk about the network in across a country. Fine. So current wide area networks run on the bandwidths of 20 Mbps, 50 Mbps, or 100 Mbps. Generally, WANs have quite a low speed as compared to the LAN. Fine. So by moving further, the next thing which I want to discuss with you is the basic of topologies. Fine. We have to set up a small office. We have to set up a large office, or any bunch of devices with some interconnected devices. For that, we need a proper fixed channel. For that, the topologies helps us. Fine. So, a network topology is what? It's just the arrangement with which a computer system or network devices are connected to each other. So, topologies may define both physical and logical aspect of the network. Both logical and the physical technology topologies could be same or different in a particular network. So these are some of the different topologies which we have. Starting from we have bus topologies. We'll talk about the star topology. We'll talk about the ring topology. We talk about the mesh topology, and we talk about the fully connected network topology, or generally referred to as hybrid. So these all topologies have their own advantages and disadvantages based upon their working. For example, or we generally have also a topology which is point to point. When two devices are directly connected to each other, we refer to it as a that we have a point to point connection. Fine. And the starting from the first topology which we are going to have is the bus topology. Fine. So in the bus topology, as we can see in the diagram, the important part is it's very simple to establish. That if we want to have a bus topology for my network, it's very easy to establish. We don't require much of the cost for it. Fine. We just need some of the cables, but at the end of these cables we have terminals. Fine. That means the biggest, or I can say the disadvantage for this bus topology we have is that data can only flow from one direction to other direction, and in that flow, if some of the device do not able to get the data will not be able to receive that to that particular device. It will loss after reaching to the terminal. fine. And the second thing is factor is that if somehow my cable breaks, then it also result in the breakage of my network. So that is the important thing which we have to consider, or which we have to know about this, fine. So it in this we can see that it is a multi-point multi-points connected to a common bus lane, and if that common lane disconnects, my whole network will break, fine. And the second topology which I want to talk about is the star topology. Fine. In the star topology, the common thing is that all the devices are connected to a particular device which is known as hub. That means to a central device connects. The important also for this is easy to establish, but mainly the thing is if my uh, hub gets lost or get faulty, that means my whole network is going to be break. That is the most important thing in my star topology. And as we have already discussed that if some of the device wants to connect to the other device or send information, that all the other device in that particular hub will also get to know about the different data exchange between two other devices. So that is the thing which need to be remembered for this particular star topology. So coming to the ring topology, in this we can see that we have a ring like structure in which one device has a direct connection with the two other devices. That means one device has two direct neighbors connected to each other through a ring, or through in a ring through some of the cables, fine. So in a ring we can consider that each device as a host, fine. And if in that particular ring, if some of the device wants to get some data from other device, that there is a thing which need to be revolved in that particular ring, which is commonly known as token. That means if someone has data and want to send the data to some other device, it need to be sent through a ring, and first of all the token has to be passed, and whichever the device want to receive that data, it must have to hold that token for some time, uh, till the time the data is transferring, and then it again has to send the relieve the token so that it can revolve again in the ring, and to reach to some other device which want to receive that data. The problem with the ring is that if somehow that for a longer period of time no other device want to accept or exchange any data, then the token will be lost in that particular ring, and that will result in the breakage of network, or we can say that the device is unable to get that particular data. That is the problem we have, that after some time the token might get lost. The next category of topology which we have is mesh network. So when we talk about the mesh network, we generally uh, we generally talk about it is a complex topology to make, and in this the device has a point-to-point connection to every other device in that particular network. Fine. So that means if I can say that in a mesh topology, in a mesh network topology, the total number of devices will decide that how many number of connections we can have. For example, we have a formula which says n into n minus 1 by 2 total number of connections we can have in this particular mesh topology. Again going to repeat, we have n into n minus 1 by 2 total number of connections which we have to establish in a device where n is the total number of devices. For example, in this picture we see that the total number of devices for a mesh network topology we have is 1 2 3 4 5. That means the formula will complete 5 into 5 minus 1 by 2, which refers to 5 into 4 divided by 2, a simple maths for this. That means 20 by 2, which refer to 10. That means 10 number of total connections we required for this 5 devices to connect with to make the connection between these devices, fine. So 5 into 5 minus 1 4, 20 by 2 gives to 10. The So it is a complex network domain, and we requires a lot of wires, and we requires a lot of point to point connection between each other devices. So the next topology which we have is we talk about the hybrid. Hybrid generally refers to a mixture of one or more topology. For example, let's suppose I can connect the mesh and the star topology. For example, to make a connection which require these two topologies to work, I want to build an office or to make a network. So for that I required more than one topology. We have this category which is known as hybrid. In that what we generally do is we take the mixture of two topologies, fine, mixture of two topologies. And fully connected network topology can be considered that in which we have this topology can be built. So these are some of the topologies which I think good to learn before going into the deep of the computer network, fine. So I want to discuss the IPv addressing. So it consists of two parts, which is IPv4 addressing and IPv6 addressing. Now, why we are changing from IPv4 to IPv6 addressing? The reason is that the classes of IPv4 addressing are going to be full. So we need some of the other addressing to fulfill our requirement, because as we know that every device on which we work, or every device needs some of the IP address. For example, like every person on this earth needs some name, as same the any some device all devices need some of IP address to for their name to make remember or to be remember, fine. So by talking about IPv4 addressing, this is how an IPv4 address look like, fine. It consists of four octets with the binary representation have been written below, and the numbers have been written above. So this is how an IPv4 address. The four octets, each octet we it carries 8 bits with sum to that 34. So generally we might have seen that we it's been saying that IPv4 addresses are 32-bit addresses, fine. So this is how a particular IPv4 address look like. When we talk about different classes of IPv addresses, for example, in this here example 192.168.100.1, I can say that this is a class C IP address. That how we come to know that that this is a particular class that belongs to this class C or class A or class B. This is according to this representation. The first class is A, which have range from 1.0.0.1 to 126.255.255.254. That means we can say that 1 to 27, and 127 is remain fixed for the local host. For example, we might have seen that 127.0.0.1 localhost when we run a XAMPP server or a WAMP server. If some of you have worked upon that, so this is a particular IPv address 127, starting from 127 to 127.255.255.254 will remain fixed for the local host. Then we have the class B, which is 128 to 191. Then class C from 192 to 223. We have class D 124 to 239, and we have class E from 240 to 255. So maximum value we can see in an octet is 255, not above this value we can see in our octet, fine. So that sums up that how an IPv4 address look like. And generally we most of the time we works with class A, class B and class C. By moving next to IPv6 addressing, that's how IPv6 address look like, 128-bit long, which in which we can see that we have this kind of format with the global prefix, then we have the subnet, then we have the interface ID. Here each block is denoted in hexadecimal digit, and each block is separated by a colon. So in this we can see that it is a 128-bit long address, which tends to complete the fulfillment of our IP addresses which is required by a particular device. So in IPv address, the address size was increased from 32 to 128, thus providing up to 2 raised to power 128, approximately 3.04 into 10 raised to power 38 addresses. This is deemed sufficient for our foreseeable future. So that's why we are shifting from IPv4 to IPv6 addresses. We might have seen if some of you are working with the devices and changing the network, or while we setting up the internet, we might have seen that we have IPv4 and IPv6 addresses in our system. We will definitely see in the next videos where we are going to deep into our network. So this is just basics of IPv4, IPv6 addressing. So this sums up the our first session on the basics of the computer network, in which we have seen network connect devices. Devices share some information. To share information, devices must speak the common language, which is referred to as protocol. Ethernet, TCP, UDP, HTTP, SMTP are different protocols which are used. Soho network is the one which is a small, and enterprise network is the one which is very large. A LAN is a local area network, a MAN is a metropolitan area network, and a WAN is a wide area network. Then we have discussed some of the topologies: ring, star, mesh, bus, and hybrid. And then we have discussed the IPv6 and the IPv4 addressing. So at here last, I have also added some of the few questions for you. So I again suggest all, yeah, you should pause here for a while, get this answer and enhance your understanding. So your company has three divisions. Each group has a network, and all the networks are joined together. Is it still a LAN or is it something else? The second one is the company adds a retail division. There is a head office and six branches offices. What type of network you called is this? Then the third one is which network topology requires a central controller or a hub. And the fourth one is which topology requires a multi-point connection. So I hope you will all gather the questions in this particular video and enhance your understanding and the knowledge, which will be sufficient to move to the next video session. So keep learning, keep growing. Your task for before the next video will be, you have to read about some cables, different cables like coaxial cables, fiber optical cables, and the twisted pair cables. And in the next video we will discuss like OSI model and some of the network design issues. Fine. So thank you.